This video is brought to you by Squarespace, but more on that in a moment. Once upon a time, I used to play, before Once Upon a Time was printed, I used to play Collected Company in Green, White, Death and Taxes. And people thought I was insane. The idea that I was going to play a 4 mana instant with a Thalia that makes it cost 5 mana, as if you'd always have both in play, people thought I was wild. And I'll explain that sort of like supposed synergism. Fucking hell. That sounds like I'm talking about cum. That non-synergy is that Thalia isn't always in play, so it's 4 mana. Sometimes your opponent spends their entire turn killing Thalia, and then you tap 4 mana and cast a company, and sometimes find another Thalia. And sometimes you just cast Collected Company for 5 mana, and it's still fucking awesome. The reason I have played Company in this deck in the past, and I might be returning to it, is because you often want your silver bullets, okay? And in Legacy, we have Recruit of the Guard. A Militia Blueguard doesn't fucking cut it. Company allows you to dig 6 deep and find silver bullets and disruptive elements, whether they be Thalias or the Revokers in the sideboard of this, the Knight of Autumn you need to blow up a Phyrexian Unlife, or the Skyclave Apparition to kill Death Shadow. It allows you to dig for what you need. Now, I guess you're just why I moved away from it originally. Well, Collected Company is variance, right? You look at the top 6 cards of your library, but they could just be 6 lands. Now, of course, you go as deep as you can with playing as many creatures as you can to ensure you can hit things with Collected Company. But even if you're playing 30 plus creatures, sometimes you can whiff. And I went through a spell of whiffing hard. And I guess when you're trying to play a game like Magic or Warhammer, for example, at a high level or some sort of semi-competitive level, shall we say, at a GP or a side event even of a GP, or just trying to do well in a league, you want to reduce the variance that can fuck you up. You want all of your decisions to have the most amount of impact and leave less things up to the gods and up to fate. Make your own luck. So for that reason, in both Warhammer and Magic, you should try and lower the variance you can be affected by, like playing 4 of cards you definitely want to draw, in this case, Collected Company. So I think if you want a deck that gives you less variance and less swings in that sense, and you know what you're going to get, when you cast a Restoration Angel, barring your opponent interacting with a removal spell, you know what Restoration Angel is going to do. Collected Company is kind of like spinning a wheel. You're not quite sure. However, we can take measures to improve its effectiveness. So we're up to 27 creatures in this build of the deck. In order to get that deep, I've cut the Stoneforge package and I've cut 1 Path to Exile. Now, if you told me to cut Path to Exile back in the day when I was playing Collected Company, I would have slapped you on the bottom and said, "No, foul swine!" But nowadays, we have access to 4 copies of Skyclave Apparition, which we can grab off our companies too. Skyclave Apparition doesn't obviously kill a Grizzlebrand or whatever like a Path to Exile can do. But let's be real, with the current modern format, Grizzlebrand is not something you're scared of anymore. It seems like the format is dominated by aggro, burn, and like mid-range stuff, blitz decks, stuff like that. So I've trimmed 1 Path to Exile, stuck it in the board that we can bring back in against the decks where we need more removal. We've got a 4/8 of Isle, our 3 Path to Exile, and that's it. And our lands, I guess. I almost started trimming lands for like Kazandu Mammoths and shit so we could get more creatures into our deck that are also lands, but I decided not to go that deep. The deck is D&T through and through. We have 3 copies of Thalia, we have 4 copies of Leonin Arbiter. We're looking to disrupt our opponent as much as humanly possible by blowing up their lands when Ghost Quarter becomes Strip Mine in conjunction with Arbiter, and so on and so on. The 2 things I'll mention about how this deck can perform in ways that feel borderline broken are accelerated starts, where you cast a Noble Hierarch and then you untap, cast on Leonin Arbiter, play Ghost Quarter as your second land drop, and strip mine them, and now they can't crack fetches and you've strip mined them. That feels pretty fucking busted. It's one of the best things we can do, and it's something we can do that the mono white versions can't. And sometimes accompanying into a Flicker Wisp plus an ETB ability in your second main, or your opponent's second main, is insane. If we hit Company, Ewit, and Wisp, we get our Company back into hand, we flicker our Ewit, and we get something else back, like a Path to Exile or a body. If we hit Wisp and Blade Splicer on a main phase, when the Blade Splicer comes back at end of turn and does another trigger, we've generated 10 power off of a Collected Company, which means if you've just been wrathed by Blue White Control, or heaven forbid Oblivion Stoned by Eldrazi, you can float your mana even if you need mana dorks, or just use your 4 mana to sometimes make 10 power. It's why I really want to put a 3rd Blade Splicer, but I couldn't figure out what to cut or to change. And the last thing that Company really does to our deck is it gives us a way to outgrind Jund, for example. Historically, I've always said that this deck struggles against Jund. especially the mono white version. Blade Splicer being our best card against it. I know we're trimming down our Blade Splicers to fit in all these utility builds like scavenging users and shit, but I have access to cards like Collected Company that generates 2 cards, and then Flickerless and Blade Splicers off that, Eternal Witness that generates a card as well. It means that we can grind with the best of them, especially now that we have our own Flame Tongue Kavu. So let me know what you think of the deck in the description below. Let me know what you think. I'm probably going to be miserable and salty if I'm losing and ecstatic if I'm winning, because that's just how Magic goes. And before we jump into Modern No, let's talk about today's sponsor. Squarespace allows people to make beautiful websites all of their own without any knowledge of coding or HTML or any of that nonsense. I'm honestly so surprised at how easy Squarespace is to use, considering I have no prior knowledge of making websites. I'm really enjoying adding a little bit each week to improve the website that I've made, from little stories about things I'm thinking about, promoting my Instagram page, showing off brands that I've worked with previously, or as of this week, I'm promoting the newsletter that I write. I write a column that comes out every Friday from Channel Fireball, which you can sign up for through Channel Fireball or through my website. And it was so simple, as you can see here. It took me less than 5 minutes to get an image in, get a title in, get a click-through button. It's just simplicity. They have comprehensive help pages, 24/7, 365-day support, and my favorite feature, honestly, is that they have mobile browsing in mind. Like every time I edit or compose a part of the website, I can check to see how it looks on a mobile without having to go to the website on my mobile, and also allows you to look at it before you set the pages to be live as well, because you can have pages offline before you edit them and put them onto the website. So the fact they've got that in mind really helps with someone like myself, who's a creator who wants his website to be accessible and appealing to mobile users. So whether you're looking to grow your online presence, improve your brand image, or any of that jazz, or maybe you're just an enthusiast looking for somewhere to put your articles, your portfolio, your model pictures, your shiny foil lovely cards, any of that stuff, you can start your free trial today at squarespace.com/Kenobi. That's squarespace.com/Kenobi, or you can use the code Kenobi at checkout to get 10% off your first purchase. And they also do domain names as well, so you can make your website through them, get hosted, and get your domain all through squarespace.com. Use the link below, squarespace.com/Kenobi today. It's round 1. We have 2 lands. I'm going to mulligan. This hand has a mana dork in it. 3 lands. Arbiter, Apparition, this is reasonable. Put one of the Arbiters back and keep the 3 land. We get Inquisitioned here. We're going to lose Arbiter or the Noble Hierarch. They have a removal spell for the Hierarch, they take the Arbiter. They have a removal spell for the Hierarch and the Arbiter, and they take the Apparition, so we can't affect their Death Shadow, because they're playing low rest, they're probably Death Shadow. They took the Apparition, so I was right, because I'm so fucking good at this game. They crack a Bauble. We get our turn, and we draw a Forest. I'm going to go Forest into Noble Hierarch so we don't have to hurt ourselves or make a choice with the pathway. Our Hierarch is not long for this world, though. I assume she's about to get shot. Nothing from our opponent. A white source means they're Mardu something. I'm assuming Death Shadow. Could be the token deck still. We draw a Company, which is nice. I'm going to play a Branch Loft Pathway, but play it as a Boulder Loft Pathway. These are words that I will have to remember because they mean things. Play an Arbiter. Maybe they have a path now for my Hierarchs. When the Arbiter resolves, the Hierarch gets path. In for 1. Still no path from them. There was a long pause there, though. Our opponent's thinking long and hard about every single possible transition of priority. There we go. So the Noble Hierarch is gone. We don't get a land. And now they push or bolt the Arbiter. And we've basically, although it's not great for us, trading 1 for 1 with everything is fine. PZ from our opponent. No. 3rd land, though. We drew a 3rd land ourselves. Not the one we necessarily wanted. Gonna play a Plains and pass the turn. I shouldn't have done that because they didn't know about the Plains in hand. So playing a land that they didn't know about was stupid. Should have played the Gathering Township. I am bad at Magic. 3rd land from our opponent, a basic mountain with some lovely art from Zendikar Rising. What's this going to be? Luris goes to hand. Okay. We're going to do a pre-combat Collected Company, I think. We drew a Ghost Quarter, so actually we're not going to do that. We're just going to Ghost Quarter them off a land here, because it's basically strip mine. And that means them chances of drawing, being able to play Luris next time are lower. Bauble from our opponent. Crack the Bauble. I have to ask the question, what the fuck do they have in their hand? If they don't have lands or 1-drop spells, is it just like 4 copies of Lingering Souls or Colligan's Commanders? I hope it's not Colligan's Command. I hate that fucking card. They draw off of the Bauble. We're gonna go Gathering Township. And then I think we're gonna go to... I'm going to do End Step and use Company, because if we hit a Flicker Wisp, we can take them off another land, and this makes them not cast a Luris and not cast a Bauble for another turn. Hit Skoos and Charming Prince, which isn't terrible. With Charming Prince, we're going to scry to They're going to unearth cycle, or cycle unearth, should I say. Unearth, oh, it's got art, it's got art. Path to exile on top. We're going to put Scoos on the bottom, Path on top. Path will allow us to deal with the Lurrus. If we get to eat everything in their graveyard with our Scavenging Ooze before they play a Lurrus, then we don't really give a shit. Then we just Path the Peasy. Dreadhorde Arcanist from our opponent. They're going to get to Inquisition us and take away our Noble Hierarch if they attack, but they will lose the Dreadhorde. They did not. We draw the Path. We're going to play Horizon Canopy. We're going to eat both of the baubles. And then we're going to pass the turn to our opponent. We're not going to... I'd probably path the Dreadhorde rather than letting them Inquisition us or path us. But they can pay at the moment. Wow, they can't pay for that fetch land. That's something. They cast a Clarion Spirit, at which point we're just going to path the Dreadhorde Arcanist here. I'm not letting them cast another spell this turn. Because obviously when they've played one card already here, right? So when they attack with Dreadhorde and recast the Path exiling one of our creatures, they would have gotten a Spirit out of it. So we're going to stop... Well, two Spirits. A Spirit and an Elemental. So we're going to stop that happening. We draw a Field of Ruin, which is pretty sweet here, because we're going to be able to pay for Arbiter, and then we're going to get to Field of Ruin them off white, which will then lock their land again. We'll grab a Forest, so we have another Scavenging Ooze activation, and they scoop it up. Sweet. We have Thalia, and we have Archon. Is this good enough? Lands and spells, right? Lands and spells. I think we keep this. It's not a particularly good hand, but it's not bad either. Fucking hell. Tell me in the comment section if I'm insane for keeping this. Bauble from our opponent. Sacred Foundry from our opponent. So they got a Path in hand, I assume. That's fine. We're going to pay 2 life and make a Noble Hierarch here. If they Path our Hierarch, we're perfectly happy with it. They might have a Bolt as well. Bolt will be a lot worse, 1 for 1, as opposed to getting land out of it. Yeah, it's just a Lightning Bolt. It's a shame, but what can you do? You know what they say, always bolt the Hierarch. That is a saying here in England. You know, like you have like fight the power. We have bolt the hierarchy. Young Peasy from our opponent, which we don't have an answer for. Although Thalia will hopefully slow it down. Let's pay 2 life and play a Thalia. I could have played a Horizon Canopy there, but we're probably playing another 2-drop next turn anyway. If we tapped Canopy this turn and next turn, it would have cost us 2 life anyway. So I think Shocking was just as good. Savria Triumph from our opponent. They've got 1 spell in the bank for 1 mana if they've got a 1 mana spell. They went to tap land then didn't. So is it 2 mana and 3 mana spells in hand? Bloodchief's Thirst. Cool. They're going to kill Thalia and make a 1-1. And then get in for 2. Okay. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. We're going to play an Archon of Emeria, which limits them to 1 spell per turn. They're going to Inquisition me for their only spell for the turn. I guess they take Arbiter as we've got a Field of Ruin in play and they don't want to lose a land. No, they take the second Archon, which means they can bolt or path this in our turn, perhaps. And they put Lurrus into hand. Okay. We draw another Arbiter. Okay. We're going to play the Arbiter, but they're going to start Mishra's Baubling with Lurrus, which is going to be not where we want to be, because they'll be drawing a card every single turn. Although if they Bauble, they can't do anything else at Sorcery Speed. No creatures, no Inquisitions, no Thoughtseizers, no Bloodchief's Thirsts. So that'd be good. They have a copy of Path to Exile. We're going to lose our Archon and get no land out of it. Oh, I bet they feel very clever when they're like, haha, the cat has backfired. But ultimately, I guess we're still trading 1 for 1. I don't know. 1 mana exile target creature and they get nothing for it would be a bit silly. It'd see a lot of play, that's for sure. Dreadhorde Arcanist. Okay. Next time they're going to get the Path or Bolt again. We're basically lost this match. We draw companies. Companies are always the thing we want to draw. We're going to play a Canopy. We're going to crack it. We draw another Canopy. We're going to go for a second copy of Arbiter. They're going to get to Path 1. Who the fuck cares at this point, honestly? I think we're just trying to ride out the storm until we draw a removal for Dreadhorde Arcanist, like a Path or a Skyclave, and then a Company. Problem is, they get the Path this turn, play Lurrus, and play Mishra's Bauble, but they've also got a Clarion Spirit as well. So they're going to make a another 1-1 when they cast a spell of Dreadhorde. Or they'll just cast Angrath's Rampage, meaning we lose everything. Okay, the thing is, we're playing Company. We now have this thing where I'm like, well, at least we can draw Company to maybe get back into us, but they're presenting a lot of power here. If they Path us, it'll thin our decks. That's kind of nice, but they can just Bolt instead. They could Bolt our face, perhaps. I guess they'd kill the Arbiter so I don't trade it with a young Pyromancer. They're going to choose Bloodchief's Thirst instead. Sure. We drew a third Arbiter, which is always fantastic. I do like drawing 3 of cards that aren't important to the game, and then some more lands. I guess I'll go fuck myself. The irony is I took a Arbiter out on the draw, because they're better on the play, and we still drew all 3 of them. Oh, fucking hell. The thing I wasn't sure on was the Uruk champions, right? They can die to Path, they can die to the Blood Chief's Thirst. But they are pretty good blockers, and they gain your life as they cast red spells. I'm not sure if I should be bringing them in against this, like, Mardu tokens thing. Opening hand's a one-lander. It's not even a green source, so we're mulliganing. This hand is slow. We're going to lose to Thoughtseize. But I'd rather this than go to a 5. Would love them not to have Thoughtseize so this eventually gets cast. Because I think Company is how we keep up parity with just the sheer amount of bodies they're going to make. Foundry from our opponent, untapped. So if we draw Thalia, this is great because they can't then use the spell they've evidently got up. We did not. We're going to go Thicket and pass back. Love them to tap out for a young Peasy here so we can eat with the Skyclave. Clarion Spirit, I'll happily eat with the Skyclave as well. So that's something. Anything we can put this Skyclave down onto basically is good for us there. Eat the Clarion. Now they're going to have a Bolt for our Skyclave, which will give them a 2-2 back, but it's a 2-2 that doesn't generate more bodies, so yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. They might even hold up the Bolt until our end step, at which place we can collect a Company to try and save it with a Wisp out of our deck. They Thoughtseize us. Oh, fuck me. That's so irritating. We lose the Company, hands down, no doubt about it. If they don't take the Company, then they're playing bad magic. There we go. Cool, 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 cool. Now they Bolt the Skyclave. We don't get to cast Company. And we slog it out.
5 minutes later.
And they've got Path. Cool, cool, cool. Fuck me in the shit ass wank fuck balls fuck. Fucking hell. This is what you get for playing so many dorks, right? Okay. This game was never going to be ours. We've won the die roll. We're going to keep this. We've got to turn 2 Arbiter. I mean, if we had a Hierarch to go turn 1 Hierarch into turn 2 Arbiter plus Ghost Quarter, we'd fucking love it, but we don't. We can't actually cast Skyclave Apparition or Night of Autumn with our current hand composition, but we'll draw another mana source, right? When we're like up against it and our opponent's got all the fucking answers and we draw all the lands and the mana sources, so we'll draw them this time, right? When we're under no pressure. That's how Magic works. That's how the sheer crushing anecdotal evidence that I'm giving you works, right? Right? We drew another Blade Splicer, which suggests that I don't really want to Ghost Core anyone here. We slam an Arbiter. If they didn't fetch here, this would be brutal, but they're going to. There we go. Did they fetch an untapped red source and just bolt us anyway? Am I going to play against Lightning Bolt decks all fucking day? Is that what's going to happen? Hey, interesting. I'll take a Path. I'll take a Path on the chin for sure. They might be opting. So there's some form of blue-white control, it looks like. We drew another land, which is a Field of Ruin, which is not terrible. I do want my spell to resolve if I can help it. In for 2. We're going to try and resolve 1 Blade Splicer because we've got 1 to follow up with next turn plus a Ghost Quarter. So let's see if this resolves. This might meet a Remand or a Leak. Just another Opt. A third Opt. Okay. Field of Ruin from our opponent. They can take us off Ghost Quarter here. I kind of want them to because they don't get the search and we didn't get the search. So they did just Ghost Quarter us. Then we untap, play Gavany, and Ghost Quarter them back. That wasn't the best line, honestly. We're going to go Gavany, and then we're just going to Field of Ruin them off white here. Then onto 1 land now. I do love Strip Mine, even when it's got a 2 mana activation cost. Get in for 6. Maybe they thought they'd still get to search. Maybe. Take them to 9. They untap on turn 4 with 1 island. Glacier Fortress. So they got some mana. We drew another Aether Vial. I'm going to play an Aether Vial. Going to play another Aether Vial. They're going to Force Negation, Pitch into Fair on the second Aether Vial. Okay. Which was just they got an answer for the first one. That they didn't just straight away go to counter the first one. Yeah, Aether Vial is very good against blue-white control. As is blowing up all their lands. That's also pretty strong. Okay, the game is over. We won our first game, so let's get completely fucked in game 2 and 3. This is how I feel today's going to go. My energy is low. Can you tell that I'm feeling slightly pissed off with Modern? I feel like I should be enjoying it. We'll see. I don't have access to any Selfless Spirits here. I'm expecting more Burn and Blitz here. Revokers are okay against their Planeswalkers, so I'll probably bring some of these in. Right, we've got a 1-lander. We're going to have to mulligan that. There's nowhere to keep. We've got a 2-lander with a Arbiter into Ghost Quarter start. That's pretty fucking strong, honestly. We're going to put one of these Revokers back and say done. I kind of wish that Revoker was a Pithing Needle so we could Pithing Needles and fetch lands post Arbiter. The Arbiter may not resolve nor live, to be fair. We drew an Aether Vial. I kind of want to play the Vial, but I think I'm going to try going down the Arbiter route off the Hierarch first, and then we'll get the Aether Vial Force later on when they've somehow got Force of Negation. They go fetching. If they path this here, I'd be happy. I think they're just going to shock opt. No op, so they shocked for no reason. Okay, sure thing. They're going to tap out for 2 blue to foretell something. Probably the Wrath, maybe? Maybe the Exile effect that hits Aether Vials and turns them into birds. I don't know. But we are going to get to Arbiter them, so that's nice. Ghost Quarter, blow up your Hallowed Fountain. That's a Strip Mine. Pass to our opponent. This foretell card could be literally fucking anything. This could be Cosmina or whatever it is, the blue god. For some reason, I'm so bad with actual factual names. God, if we draw a Ghost Quarter again, I'm going to do a little poo. But they might exile this and turn into a 1. I can't even remember what that blue spell can hit. I know it can hit artifacts because magic is hard. Let's go with a Thalia. Let's go attacking for 3. Fun fact, if they kill my Arbiter hit, my Hierarchy, I can't cast the Aether Vial in hand because Thalia will make it cost 2. Yeah, maybe casting Vial before Thalia was a good idea, but Thalia does mean that it disrupts them from playing, I don't know, to Fairy this turn, or a Supreme Verdict on the following turn. Let's Field of Ruin. So they can't Field of Ruin on non-basic, basic, sorry. So that's something. We drew an Apparition. We're going to cast a Vial here before we go to combat, so they don't randomly path me during combat and screw up my second main phase. They're just going to hard cast. They can't hard cast Force Negation because it costs 4 mana. Whoopty-whoopty. They're going to have to pay a card in hand if they want to. What have they got? Remand? Ceremonious Rejection. They brought in Ceremonious Rejection against my Aether Vial deck. I'm not going to say that's objectively wrong, but it seems bad. I mean, I guess if they know we've got 4 Evokers, but that's not like known tech. That's fucking strange. I get that Vial is backbreaking for them. I get that. I guess we're never cutting Vial. Maybe it's not as bad as I'm making out. Maybe it's actually super strong. We could do with drawing another land, honestly. They fetched into our Arbiter without paying. So that's good for us. Oh dear. Oh dearie dear. Yep, they paid 2 mana to then concede. Got him?
Another one.
Okay, I can't complain now after how well that round went, okay? Fucking hell, I feel bad. I feel actually bad. We're gonna keep this hand, which is a Noble into Thalia hand. Our opponent's on some form of Hedron Crab deck. Is it going to be self-mill? Is it going to be actual mill? I guess we'll find out shortly. Let's go Temple Garden, pay the mana, pay the life, sorry, and put a Noble Hierarch into play. It's self-mill. They mill themselves. Oh dear, it's the fucking Vengevine deck, isn't it? Yeah. Or some equivalent of. Stitches Supply and Gravecall in the bin. We get Creeping Chill. Having the Scoos in hand here is very strong. We get hit by Creeping Chill again. Down to 12. We'll get to eat them next turn, right? We'll get to eat them next turn. They play a Stitches Supplier. They mill themselves again. There is a Prized Amalgam and a Gravecrawler in the bin. We're going to eat the Gravecrawler next turn to stop the Prized Amalgam coming back into play. So let's go Scoos. If this is a spell snare, I'll do a fucking shit. I will literally do a shit on the floor. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're going to eat the Gravecrawler because they can cast it from the graveyard right now with the Stitches Supply in play with the black mana here, which will then bring back the Prized Amalgam, so we ate that. They play a land. They mill themselves some more. There's a Gurmag Angler and a Crab in the bin now. Here's a little peeky peek. Peeky wiki. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Silver Smoke Ghoul from hand. It's a 3-1. Sure. They attack with a 1-1 here. I'm going to block it, I think. I don't really mind. They have no mana here. Killing it is good. And then I get to kill the Silver Smoke Ghoul and they can't bring back any Gravecrawlers or whatever again. I think I'm going to... If I draw a land, I'm going to exile this and exile this. Let's see what we get. We draw a land. Let's go Apparition on the Silver Smoke. Let's go Path to Exile on the Crab. So we know they got 1 basic island and 2 basic swamps minimum in terms of basic lands, thanks to them milling themselves. We get in for 4. They play another Crab. They play a Prized Amalgam. Okay. We draw a Collected Company. This will get to the weird bit where we can do other things, but I think we want a company before we do other things. Because if you play a Thalia, for example, that makes our company pretty bad. We hit only Blade Splice with our first company. And then we're going to go to combat attack with a 4-4. Stitch Supply from our opponent. Puts a Vengevine and a Creeping Chill in the bin. Okay, shit the bed. You can play another card and bring back a Vengevine. Narcomoeba from hand. Brings back the Vengevine. Brings back an Amalgam. Shouldn't have tapped out my green sources. That was a whoopsie doopsie. They come in. We're going to block the Vengevine and take 3, I think. Go to 7. They get an Amalgam at end step. We drew an Aether Vial. So we eat the Vengevine. We play a Vial. We get in for 3 with Exalted. They can't group blockers down because they only have 2 1/1s in play. They will block with Stitch Supply to put more things in their bin almost certainly. Yep. Stitch Supply dies. Glimpse the Unthinkable into the bin. Nothing of note. They attack with it all, which is bad because we get to eat some of this, right? We get to block here, take 1. These die. Then they can like they can attempt to bring them back. We're just going to eat one of them with the Scoos. Now can we move from hand? Eat an Amalgam. We drew another Aether Vial. I guess we'll just play it. This is actually perfectly fine because it allows us to keep our mana up and do things. We're going to go to combat and attack with a 3/3 again, keeping the Scavenging Ooze for blocking of Bloodghast or Vengevines or any of that nonsense. Stitch Supplier again, so this is going to mill them. Hits a Narco. I'm going to eat the Narco out of the bin before it returns. I'm going to take 2 in the air here. End of turn, we eat another Prized Amalgam. Nom 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 nom. We drew another land of Ghost Quarter, so we're gonna company this turn, keeping up 1 Scoos activation. Company finds us an Eternal Witness and a Skyclave Apparition and a Noble Hierarch. So we're gonna get Skyclave and not the Witness actually. We'll get the Noble Hierarch for more green sources. Say okay. The Apparition's gonna exile the Stitcher Supplier, and they scoop it up. Cool. Okay, 3-lander. Agreed. We're going to keep it. We're one enough cast in the company, and if the Hierarch sticks around, we're loving life. If the Hierarch sticks around and we draw an Arbiter, we get to go for the turn 2 Arbiter plus Ghost Quarter, one of the best things we're doing. Yeah, this hand is fine. There's a little bit of risk inherent, but it's water grave from our opponents. It's going to be a Thoughtseize. No, it's going to be a Hedron Crab. People love their fucking crabs. Forced into Noble Hierarch, we draw a white source in the form of Boulder Loft Pathway, which is also what I call my arsehole. It's Branch Loft when I haven't shaven, and it's Boulder Loft when I have. Bit dry, bit coarse, you know? I guess Archon stops them from getting their Vengevines back because they're only going to be casting 1 creature a turn, so I think Archon is our line next turn. Catacombs, so they're going to mill themselves. Repeat of last game. They hit Narco. This is actually good for us. Them hitting Narcos here means that they're unlikely to then bring back Prized Amalgams. Now, they let one of the Narcomoeba triggers resolve, which they should have done. They're now going to mill themselves again before this Narcomoeba resolves. Get hit with Creep and Chill, and they get 2 more Narcomoebas. This is great for us. We want to see the Narcos now, rather than later bringing back Prized Amalgams. They mill themselves with Merfolk Secret Keeper and put nothing but really a Crab and a Gurmag in the bin. They play a Gravecrawler, which is relevant because it allows them to play zombie Gravecrawlers out of the bin, but they didn't hit any. Play a Boulder Loft, and we'll play an Archon of Emeria. They had the Decay for the Archon, which is pretty good for them. That puts us under quite a bit of pressure now, as we don't have a really good blocker. I guess a Collected Company might do the job. We get Creep and Shield again, down to 14. We take 5, going to 9. We draw a Wisp, so we're going to go Gavany Township and pass the turn. We're going to company in their combat step to make some bodies to surprise with. We want to find Scoozes and Blade Splicers and Archons and shit like that. They come in a slapping. They don't attack with the Gravecrawler, interestingly. We Collected Company. We hit pretty good stuff. Now, none of this is blocking this stuff anyway. So we can get Apparition and Scooz. Apparition's going to take away the Crab, because that gives them fuel to mill with. We're going to take 3 here, going to 6. We untap and draw another white source. So we can flicker our Apparition if we want to. We eat a Gurmag. There's a long pause that they're thinking of decaying it. We'll eat another Gurmag. We'll play our Plains. And then we're going to go to combat and attack with a 3/3 Skyclave, because the Gravecrawler can't block, but the Scavengers can block the Gravecrawler. This gets in for 3. And then post-combat, I'm going to play a Wisp, but I'm going to reset my Forest, so we have a Scooz activation on their turn, in case they get a Vengevine or something similar. Fuck me, I need to be playing... I was considering playing Jotun Grunts. I need to play Jotun Grunts. They hit Vengevines. They hit Glimpse the Unthinkable... Oh, sorry, they cast Glimpse the Unthinkable and hit Vengevines, 2 of them. Now, it's the second creature spell they cast each turn that gets them there. So they attack for 3. Sure. Go to 5. End of turn, I'm going to eat one of the Vengevines. We untap. We draw an Aether Vial. We're going to play Ghost Quarter. We now have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana to activate Gavany and eat the Vengevine. So we can now make a Wisp that can block Narcomoebas quite easily. Or maybe I just want to eat 2 bodies. No, I want a Gavany. I want a Gavany. So we attack with Scooz, which is a 7/7. And then we're going to Gavany to make it an 8/8. A 7/7. I misunderstood. I'm an idiot. They cast a Merfolk Secret Keeper. They come in, we're going to block 1, take 2, go to 4. End of turn, we're going to eat their Vengevine again, the other one. We draw an Arbiter, play Arbiter, eat a Narco out of their bin, and get into combat and attack with a 9/9. They'll block with Merfolk Secret Keeper. In their draw step, we're going to sacrifice our Ghost Quarter to blow up their water grave, take them off blue. They can pay 2 mana here to search through the Arbiter, but then it uses up the majority of their mana for their turn. And instead they decide to scoop it up. We got them. Okay. Scoos is good, I guess. I'm leaning on this massive crutch that is Scavenging Ooze. Are you ready? Are you ready for more? Yes, I am. We won the draw. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. One lander. Let's mulligan that. Let's mulligan that. Okay. We're going to keep this one land. Well, we're going to put one of the vials back. One land, 8th vial, fucking Noble Hierarch hand. If they're burned, this is going to be super painful. Let's go green mana, make an 8th vial. Pass the turn to our opponent. We came into this round so fucking enthusiastic. Oh no. Arid Mesa, what could this mean? Basic Mountain, what? Monastery Swift Spear, what could this fucking mean? What could this fucking mean? We go to 18, we untap, we put a tickle on our pickle. We draw a land, so I guess I'm gonna shock myself. And then I'm gonna play a Thalia because making the spells cost more, blocking their stuff, putting bodies in the bin. We took damage to do so, but it makes our Scoos off the vial next turn with the green mana open a lot better. So they have 2 mana, attack with Swift Spear. They're gonna have a single damage spell. We can block Thalia, they use a spell, we lose the Thalia. Or we take a bunch to the face. I'm not gonna block. That might be wrong. We go to 14. They play an Eidolon. We're going to make a Noble Hierarch in response. Tick up our vial. Drew a Field of Ruin. Okay. I'm tempted to crack this Horizon Canopy, actually. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. We drew an Apparition. Pretty hot. I'm into it. I think I'm not going to attack here, though. Sunbake Canyon from our opponent. They're going to cast a Searing Blaze on our Thalia, which hurts them, costs more, grows the Monastery Swift Spear, all that jazz. Sure, so Thalia's gonna die. And they're gonna go attacking, right? Yeah, that's it. That's the one. We're gonna make a Decaying Horsecock. And then we're gonna eat this Thalia out of the bin like some sort of trash man. And then we're gonna go to blocks, a block here, kill the Monastery Swift Spear, and we're just fucking loving life right now. We're gonna exile and eat this as well using this green mana. Nom 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 nom. I am a Scavenging Ooze. Oh, we're on 13. They've got an Eidolon on the Great Revels in play. We've got a Vial on 3. We drew another Vial. It would cost us 2 life to play it, but I think that's okay. I'm going to go to 11 by playing a second Vial, so we can get our 1 up to 2 drops. And then we're going to slam in for 5 here. That's a lot. That is so much. Comment section. They're going to block with the Eidolon of the Great Revels because they feel like they kind of need to. That's fine. And then we're going to pass back to our opponent. Now, we've got Wisp in the Vials. They got Double Bolt on the Scoos. We can save it. They suspend a Rift Bolt. They cast a Lightning Bolt at our face. Okay. This is close. Maybe I shouldn't have hit myself with that. They play another Eidolon. Okay. I'm going to eat the other Eidolon with this one. I'm going to make this Aether Vial open up the Pokeball inside as a Skyclave Apparition. Just going to eat the Eidolon. Go, there we go, there we go. Just eat something out of the bin for the sake of it. Let's eat a spell. I don't know. Maybe they'll have a Bedlam Reveler in their burn deck. Who knows? Who knows? We're not going to be taking up this. So we're going to take up this Vial, yes. No more. No longer shall this Vial tick up. We drew another Scavenging Ooze. Well. We're going to go to combat. And we're going to attack them for a whole bunch. We're going to attack them for 7. This is half their life total. To be honest, they're untapping. They're going to have Rift Bolt, Conf Suspend, and they could draw 2 burn spells. Do I flicker out a land right now? I probably nah, it doesn't matter. We'll come back at the end of the turn and they'll just use it, right? Well, unless it's a lava spike. If they cast lava spike here, I should have flicker wisped a land on the end step. So we're on 6. They have 2 cards. Most cards in a burn deck do 3 damage, either over a course of time or at the same time. They crack the Sunbit Canyon. They have 2 mana and 3 cards available. I should have wisped a mountain. Almost 100% actually. Oof. I think we were odds on to die there. I should never have played this, and I should have whisked that. We can even learn from our wins, because I'm so fucking good at this game. The metagame call of 4 Orioc Champion that every D&T player is taking right now is going to pay off, I think. We've cut Arbiters on the draw, where we're bringing some of them back in on the play. I haven't cut Thalia on the draw, though, because she's just pretty fucking good at making their turns quite cumbersome and inefficient, and drawing a burn spell, and that's basically gaining you 3 life as well. I've kept everything in that gains me life. We've got 1 Charming Prince, we've got the Knight of Autumn, we've got the Orioc Salvagers? Orioc Champions. Orioc Salvager would be fucking dreadful in our deck, and this matchup. We're going to keep this. We've got some life gain hand. We've got a vial to get around Eidolon. And we've got a removal spell as well. The canopy also draws us a card. We get Lava Spiked off of a Pain. Not the greatest of burn openings, honestly. They kind of want a recurable damage loss if you can. So I'm pretty happy about that. We find a Branch Loft. We're going to go land into Vial. Pass them back to our opponent. If they have an Abrade or something, it's not the end of the world because we're not reliant upon the Vial. Boar's Charm down to 13. Okay, cool. I'd love to see a Thalia off the top here. That'd be nice. Oh, baby. We're going to just play this as a green source. Oh, fuck, I'm so good at this. So fucking good at this. I mean, an Auriok Champion would probably have been better. And by probably, I mean most certainly. But just a Thalia anyway to make their next turn more difficult so they can't like, triple burn spells and end step. We've got to play around Skullcrack a little bit here as well. We're going to tick up our Aether Vial. Say yes. Druid Apparition. I'm going to play a Canopy and crack it. Find another Canopy. Go to combat and attack for 2. Maybe it'll be Singular Bolt into the Thalia, Bolt to our face. Or Bolt equivalent to our face. Or just a 3 mana Helix. Okay, we go to 10, they go to 17. Triple Sunbaked Canyon on their side of things. So they've got a lot of draw out of their lands, but obviously it hurts them if they cast spells. Vial on 3 now. Archon of Emeria in hand. I'm going to go a bit painful here and play it for the 1 instead of shocking for the 2. They're going to bolt our face. They can no longer Skullcrack, so we're going to activate our Aether Vial. Say yes. Put Night Evolve into play and just gain 4 life, which undoes a whole Boros Charm. We go to 10. They have 2 cards in hand, but they also have some big canyons to crack as well. One of those cards might be a 3 damage, 1 mana burn spell like Lightning Bolt, which you might see now. As soon as Archon of Emeria is resolved, they can't cast another spell this turn, right? So they've got to cast it while Archon is on the stack. There we go. We see a Path to Exile hit our Thalia. Okay, we can go grab a land. I'm cool with that. We'll go grab a Forest in case we draw Scavenging Ooze. More green sources for oozes, but although there's no bodies in the bin right now, so much of a muchness really. They crack a Sunbaked Canyon, play a land, and they Searing Blaze one of our bodies, taking us to 7. That's their spell for the turn. We drew another Vial, which isn't great. We drew another Archon, which is pretty good. Play a Vial, go to combat and attack for 2. Take them to 11. We are in dangerous territory, though. We haven't really drawn a whole lot. I think our opening hand was meh. Archon's fine. I say not drawn a lot. We drew the Thalia immediately and we drew the Archon as well. I can't really complain. Would love to see an Auriok Champion way before this. Or just another card that ETBs and gains us some life. So we're going to take 3 damage from Skewer the Critics here. They can't, of course, cast another spell this turn. We go to 4. Put an Archon into play. Untap. We're on 4. Really want to draw like a Charming Prince or something. Something to gain us some life. Path to Exile. Not great. Let's get in for 4. We have them dead on board if they don't kill us next turn because we can violate a 2/2 and attack. So they have 3 cards now and they do 4 damage. Like, there are so many cards in their deck that just do 4 damage here. They might want to do 3 and then let us untap and do 3 again. That might be their line. Okay, nothing from them. Maybe they want us to life gain around it, you know? I need to make a 2/2 here to actually kill them. I can't give them another untap. So if they have a burn spell here, we're dead. Okay, no. They realize that we have 6 damage on board, and that's enough to kill them. And they didn't have the burn there. We got a little bit lucky there. I will 100% admit that when they didn't have enough to do 6 or 4 off of 2 to 3 cards in burn, it's unfortunate for them. I'll take it. Like, I will take it, and I will run around the streets with, like, half my clothes torn off, like, screaming at the top of my lungs. I'll fucking take it. Like, with excitement. I don't know if that even made sense. I meant I would tear my clothes off as I ran with I'm going to shut the fuck up and play the 5th round now. Well, as much as I love all the cards in this hand, I cannot keep this. Oh, I can't keep that either. Oh, no. Okay, this is going to have to... Yeah, this is going to have to do. It's going to put 2 cards back. What the hell do I put back from this? Eternal Witness and Charming Prince and Hope Company carries us. That doesn't seem very good. I'm going to bottom a land. Charming Prince will scry us into the land we need and provide us with a 2/2 body that we can then flicker for value, attack with or block with. Is it burn again? I'm okay with it being, but yes, it is burn again. I might not play my Hierarch out on turn 1 then. Okay, well, I should have played the Hierarch, because if they go Bolt off face, play an Eidolon, we're probably worse off. Bolt it down to 17. Bloodstained Mire from our opponent being cracked. Is this an Eidolon? I prefer it not to be an Eidolon. Oh, they just skewer us instead. And bolt us. Yep. Down to 11. We drew an Arbiter. We're going to not pay for this. We're just going to play the Hierarch this turn. And then we're either going to double spell next turn or Company. And then play a Charm Prince on 3 and so on and so on and so on. We're low enough that they probably don't bolt the bird here. Lava Spike us down to 8. Take 2, go to 6. Did they just have another bolt as well? Oh god. Go to 5, 2. Okay, it's fine. They have no cards in hand. We have got there. We're dead to any bolts. We have to play Charming. We're going to gain 3 life, and we're going to get in for 1. We're living life on the edge. We rolled to 5. I made a very suboptimum turn 1 line choice. I do think playing the Hierarch was the correct thing to do. If they drew a land here, we're not out of the woods, but the woods are less scary. The trees are less Tim Burton, and they're more Horton Hears a Who, if that makes sense. I think I snap block. I force them to have it. If I don't block, I just die, probably. No attacks. They don't even fake it. They don't even fake it. We untap and we draw a Temple Garden. Do I shock myself to Company? That seems not good. I don't want to play a Thalia because I'm not Company either. Okay, no Shockerino. I mean, they didn't have a bolt because they would have just bolted the Charming Prince, wouldn't they? No more would they have done? Second Swift Spear. What is that final card? An Eidolon of the Great Revels. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Well, I say I use the word fine very loosely there. We untap and we draw Field of Ruin. Okay, so we can go Company now. If you fail me now. Okay, we're good. We're good. Bodies. Scavenging Ooze. Eternal Witness. Okay. Get back Company. Okay. We're just casting Companies until we win. Happy for Bodies to die here if they want to, like, grow their Swift Spear attack. I'll throw 2/2s on the bus all day long to get the Scooter to grow and eat and live a full life. No attacks from opponent. We have to untap again. We draw a Wisp. Not great with Eidolon in play. We're just going to go for another Company and see where it lands us. Here we go. Skyclave and Blade Splicer. I'll take it. Skyclave will eat the Eidolon of the Great Revels. This means we can Wisp our Charming Prince next turn and gain 3, which takes us out of Dangersville. Or if they bolt one end step, untap, bolt us, then we're not in a great spot. I'm going to attack with a 3/3 Leonin Arbiter because we've got to kill him at some point. We have enough bodies now that, well, last turn maybe I could have attacked. I don't think I could have done, honestly. They had 3 attackers and we had like 4 bodies. I don't think that's 5 bodies. They bolt us in the face. Okay. We got to get lucky here. We got to get lucky. Stay up all night to get lucky. Did you draw another bolt? Got very lucky against our last burn opponent. Are they going to slow roll it? Interesting. We drew a Blade Splicer. I guess I might just like crack him with a bunch of stuff. Hold up Company for the inevitable second bolt. Yeah, because this presents them with like options around clocks and stuff. Okay, they go to 6. I hold up Coco to Coco in response to a possible bolt. So that way we might hit a life gain thing like a Night of Autumn, or I think that's it actually, our 2 Night of Autumns. This is true 5p territory. I'm currently really like pinching my arsehole tight. Do I now Coco in response to the... Oh, bollocks. They've still got 1 mana up and 1 card in hand. I guess I'm slamming in with everything next turn anyway, right? So they're dead on board if I attack with everything. We attack. They're considering blocks. There's no way for them to block that it doesn't let lethal through. Like, they're really thinking it through. So the last card's got to matter, or they're just slow rolling it. Okay, so Scooz goes to the bit. So Scooz now gets to eat a Monastery Swift Spear, because of the first strike, and survive the Eidolon. And they're dead. Okay. Our hand is Thalia or Champion Charming Prince. Cannot really ask for much more, honestly, having the access to life gain, disruption, and protection from red and more life gain. Goblin Guy from our opponent. We know Blade Splice is on top, so that gives us a good block against them. Although they may have smashed Smithereens. There was a time in Modern where I'd never bring this in against this deck. We're going to play Temple Garden tapped, mainly because they would smash the Smithereens the token. So what you want to do is cut your vials on your Blade Splices to allow them to not have any artifacts. And then Burn players would hands down, for being by, just when you're playing 4 Blade Splices in game 1, they would definitely bring them in, be looking to blow up your golems and your vials, and then they'd just be stuck with them in hand for the entire game. And I loved it. We found a ghost quarter off of that Goblin Guide. We're going to take 2 here to play an Oriok champion, but it will gain us so much life, it doesn't really matter. The attack with 2 2/2s. Goblin Guide shows the Thalia on top of our library. We're going to block the Goblin Guide. They actually have the Skullcrack right now. Okay, so for people that don't know, damage can't be prevented this turn. That turns off protection. So them having the Skullcrack in front of the Oriok champion is rough, but it means at least we get to like Charming Prince for life gains. That's something. We're going to go take 2 and path the Eidolon. There you go. We go to 7. I don't think you ever really play around the Skullcrack in that situation. Also, getting it out of the hand means you can gain life off other spells like Charming Prince here, so that's pretty good. So yeah, I think you always just see if they've got it when blocking with an Oriok champion. We also have 3 more in our deck, so it's not like it's our one piece of sideboard hate. They love a Spycast. We go to 7. They're going to attack with 3 bodies. We're going to block 1, and we're going to go to 3. Goblin Guy draws a Horizon Canopy and a Plains. I'm going to block here. Now, if you told me, looking at the hand, that I would lose this game, I would not have believed you. But it looks like that's what's happening. A Knight of Autumn to heal or something would be nice. We did not draw a Knight of Autumn. So we're going to go just Blade Splicer to give us 2 bodies. And a Noble Hierarch. And now we're on 3 and they're drawing a land up to... sorry, we're on 3 and they're drawing a card up to 3... Fuck, cannot talk. We're on 3 life, they're drawing a 3 cards in hand. The chance of them not just bombing us to death is very low. As I've said over and over again, most cards in their deck will do either 3 damage over time or 3 damage immediately. There's another body to attack with. Maybe their hand is just full of lands and sideboard hate and shit. So they're coming in. They've got a lightning bolt anyway, so they're just making sure I'm dead, I guess. That's fine. Was not expecting to lose with that hand, honestly. That hand felt very good. The Skullcrack was just backbreaking. It is good to see like decks like Burn beat Oriok champions and life gain cards, right? Like, the idea that decks just get completely hosed by sideboard cards is something that people have always said is a weakness to Modern, so it is good to see those decks like come through it. Our hand is Thalia plus a removal spell, essentially. They're going to crack a Wood of Foothills. Suspending a spell would be good here. They didn't suspend a spell. They played a Goblin Guide. What does Goblin Guide bring us? Does it bring us a present early? A Christmas present? Nope. There was a Path to Echo on top of our library, though. So that's nice. We're just going to play out with Thalia. Makes their turn a bit more complicated. Gives us a blocker. Waiting for our Varda to come up to 2 to do that and keeping Path up isn't right. They path our Thalia. That's fine. Noble Hierarch on top of our library, which means we probably don't tick up our Vial this turn. So that we can not shock ourselves. And make it, whilst also playing our Apparition this turn. Seems pretty good. The Thalia there, although it traded 1 for 1, you've got to remember it cost them 2 mana. The tempo gain is huge. They have to spend their entire turn dealing with it. We've got rid of their Goblin Guide, which is their recurring source of damage. They're 5 cards in hand and we're on 16 life. This is the most comfortable we've been against Burn with this deck. I'm not saying we've won, because we've won the games where we were uncomfortable too, right? So they suspend a Rift Bolt, which is obviously going to kill our Skyclave. Make a Noble Hierarch off the Vial. Pick up our Aether Vial. We drew a Scavenging Ooze. Going to play a Field of Ruin. We're going to attack for 3 here. I'm going to fill them off their Sacred Foundry because white mana is a premium for their deck, and then I don't think they play any basic planes. So turn off Boros Charm and Lightning Healer. Just got another green mana for our Scavenging Ooze. Then we can make off the Vial to eat this Apparition. There's a Skullcrack, sure. We go to 13. Destroy the Foundry, get a Forest. If they bolt us here, we've actually given them some tempo because they've been able to unload more spells quicker. They didn't, so yeah, that's fine. We just took them off white spells for the moment. Rift Bolt to our face. Okay, okay. Goblin Guide, okay. We draw a Branch Loft off of that. We're going to make a Scooze. It would appear they have a Lightning Bolt in hand. As they're thinking, maybe a Searing Blaze. They're thinking long, well, it can't be Searing Blaze. They're thinking long and hard about what to do with the Scooze being in the battlefield. I think I'm going to block the Noble Hierarch and then eat it with the Scooze. To make Scooze a 3/3 blocker for next turn. Otherwise, Scooze is not going to be able to like favourably block this Goblin Guy. Trading is fine, but I'd much rather keep the Scooze around. By trading, I mean I don't want to trade 1 for 1. I'd rather be able to kill their thing. I'm going to go blocks here. Block like this. Can I even use this Hierarch mana post in damage? A different step, right? They're going to bolt my Scavenging Ooze. Cool, 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 cool. I think I just path the Goblin Guide then, if that's the case. I'd rather keep my body around than throwing it away for no reason. We fail to find another land. So they don't have any more mountains left in their deck. So any white sources they play, we can just Field of Ruin them and that'll strip mine them. We're on 10, they have 2 cards in hand. Tick up our Vial finally to 3. Drew a Blade Splicer. Play a Branch Loft Pathway as a green source and get in for 3. They have 3 cards in hand, which means doing 10 damage to us is very unlikely. However, we don't really kill them next turn. So they might still take this game from us. We actually, if we draw Gavany, we have exactly lethal. Gavany or life gain would have been nice. We're going to get in for some damage. We take them to 5. They're dead on board. We're going to make an Archon in our end step, I think. Archon of Emiria passing to our opponent. They can only cast 1 spell on their turn and 1 spell on our turn. So they kind of need it. Well, they can cast 1 spell now. So they want to go 3 here. And then we'll go 3 in their turn and 3 in the following turn, or 4 here. Now, 4 would obviously require a white source, so it might be that the cards in their hand are 4 damage spells and they haven't got a white source. Or they want to go Lava Spike us here, Bolt us in our turn. They hit the white source, but the white source ETB's tapped because of Archon of Emiria. So, I feel like we might have just got there. So they kill this. That gives them a blocker. Ew. We go to 1. They have a blocker now. We can't kill them. Interesting. We're going to blow up that white source again. So it wasn't a white spell in hand. I just completely misunderstood it. So Wisp, not Skyclave or Path to Exile would be good. Ghost Quarter. That is not what we wanted, but we will strip mine them. We're on 1. We are dead to any 3 damage burn spell, which is pretty much everything in their deck. We're going to go to combat and we're going to attack for 3 in the air, because attacking with anything else doesn't change the clock. Okay, they go to 2. We pass to them. It's literally just hands in the air. How does it go? Did I miss something somewhere? Did I take more damage than I needed to? Did I shock myself in this game? I don't think I did. I think I played super conservatively. So this is a very tight, very close game of Modern. And there we have it. Vince is less salty when he wins. What are the chances of that, ladies and gentlemen? And everyone in between. Okay, we went 4-1. I'm pretty happy with that. We had a really rough game against the Modern Tokens deck. I've got a bit lucky against the burn decks, but I think we played pretty tightly for the most part. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. Am I insane for not playing Stoneforge Mystic? Am I insane for going back to Collected Company? I haven't played Collected Company in this deck for like 2 years maybe. I really soured to it after some pretty bad runs with it, just hitting 0 things with like 28 creatures in the deck and stuff. But on the whole, barring hitting only 1, it was very, very good for us in every time we played it. We won a burn game because we cast Collected Company 3 times. That's pretty fucking wild. If you like the video, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and all that jazz. If you're looking to support the channel, there's a link to the Patreon in the down below. And also don't forget this video is brought to you by Squarespace. So if you're looking to set up your own website, there's a link in the description for that as well. And I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta for now.